Hey guys, welcome back to 25 Sweet Peas. So today for you I have a look at the new Envy Lacquer line called the Mermaid at Sea. So let's take a look at all of these swatches. So first up, I'm gonna start out with Don't Be a Seawitch, which is a gorgeous polish that I'm loving from this collection. So we're just gonna put that on. It's a purpley holo that also has some flakies in it that show up here and there. It's just really pretty. So there is one thin coat, as you can see. It's a bit streaky on one coat, but still has pretty good coverage. So we're gonna let that dry and then come back and put a second one. Okay, it is now time for our second coat. We're just gonna get it off. And here we go. This one's formula is pretty nice. It's rather thick, so it's kind of hard to do it in thin coats, but because as you can see, like as the time you get over here, well, it's rolling down my brush for one, and it just gets a bit thick. Like right there, it got really thick. So we'll see here if I can smooth this out. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it pulls at the edges. I think you can see when I did that. But we do have full coverage in two coats. Well, the first coat being really thin, the second coat being medium. Because, like I said, it gets a little thick on the second. Like when you pull it out of the bottle, like I'll try to get that on camera so you can see it. Okay, so I realize this may not be focused and I may make a mess, but I want you to see if you can see how it pulls right there. That's what I mean by it kind of gets thick. Next up is Make Waves, which is probably one of my favorite ones from this collection because it is a deep teal like glittery color, and I don't know how else to explain it besides glittery, as you're gonna see in a minute. It is gorgeous, and I really like how the pictures showed up, how it showed up in pictures. So when I insert the pictures, I think you guys are gonna like that. So there is one thin coat, really nice even coverage, I would say. And I'll let that dry and we'll put on a second. Okay, it is now time for that second coat. We're just gonna put that on. It does, again, get a little thicker on the second coat. I think it happens when the polish just hits like the air. So there you go. You have full coverage in two coats, and I mean, just look at that glitter intensity. It is stunning. Okay, it is now time for that second coat. We're just gonna put that on. It does, again, get a little thicker on the second coat. I think it happens when the polish just hits like the air. So there you go. You have full coverage in two coats, and I mean, just look at that glitter intensity. It is stunning. Okay, it is now time for that second coat. We're just gonna put that on. It does, again, get a little thicker on the second coat. I think it happens when the polish just hits like the air. So there you go. You have full coverage in two coats, and I mean, just look at that glitter intensity. It is stunning. Okay, next up we have Abalone Crown, which is like a gray toned white that has some really neat flakies in it that do appear to be the color of what you would see in an abalone shell. And then it also has some shimmer in it. So here we go, is one thin coat. As you can see, it is still very sheer on that first coat. So this is gonna take 2 to 3 different coats. So we're gonna let this first one dry and we'll be back for our second coat. Okay, next up we have Abalone Crown, which is like a gray toned white that has some really neat flakies in it that do appear to be the color of what you would see in an abalone shell. And then it also has some shimmer in it. So here we go, is one thin coat. As you can see, it is still very sheer on that first coat. So this is gonna take 2 to 3 different coats. So we're gonna let this first one dry and we'll be back for our second coat. Okay, we're now back and ready for our second coat, and we'll see how this goes on. I've already swatched this 2 times, I think, and it has varied between 2 and 3 coats. So there is our second coat, and as you can see, in like places like up here and there, it's still a bit splotchy. So we're gonna let that dry and go ahead and put on a second coat. And same as I said before, like I'm doing these pretty thin. It's just the consistency of this one and one that you saw earlier. It's just a bit goopy. I'm not sure how else to explain it than that. And the way I showed you. And actually, I'll show you with this one. Just let the finger out. Okay. So we'll just pull that out, and there you can see how it pulls. So yeah. Okay, it is now time for our third coat. We're just gonna put that on and see if it gets full coverage. Okay, with our third coat, we have much better coverage. And as you can see, this is a really pretty polish. So if you're not into doing like a full 2 to 3 coats, I would suggest like wearing a white cream polish and putting 1 coat of this on top just to get the same look but without as much dry time and so on. But it still gives you a great way to wear it because it really is pretty. Next up, I have Seafoamin Around, which is exactly like it sounds. It is a sea foam color that has like a purple shimmer. It's got blue glitters, and you're just gonna get an array of colors showing up in this polish, and it's really pretty. So first we're gonna try to do 1 thin coat. And a bit sheer, but I feel like with our second coat, we're gonna get a lot more of a full coverage. So we'll let this dry and we'll be back for the second coat shortly. Okay, it's time for second coat. We'll just put on and see, there you go. We're getting a much better coverage with second coat, and I'm personally happy with that second coat. I think this is a gorgeous polish, and it's definitely one that I would wear during the summer. It's just actually one that I'd wear in the spring and summer, winter and fall, because I mean, it's a seafoam color and I love that kind of color. So really gorgeous. Next up, we have our last like major glittery one, and this one is called Sunset Sands, and by the name I'm guessing you guys can figure out what this is going to look like. Now, it is gorgeous. It has hollow bar shaped glitters in it. It's got your round shaped glitters. It's got shimmer. It's got everything, and it's just really gorgeous. So let's put on 1 thin coat to get us started. And as you can see, this does go on very thin. Yet at the same time, I feel like even though it does go on thin, like I'm getting a lot of color on there. Not a lot of color, but a lot of shimmer. Therefore, it's building up more. So we'll let that dry and we'll be back for our second coat momentarily. Now it's time for that second coat. We're just going to try to do the same type of thinness that we did on all of the others. And side. Second coat got covered pretty well. I personally can still see my nail line, so I'm going to let that dry, and I'm going to go ahead and do a third coat. So I'll be back for the third coat. Okay, it's time for that third and final coat for this polish. I feel like since this one is sheer on the first coat, you could actually possibly use this as a topper. I haven't yet, but I feel like you could. I actually use this in the center of art that you guys will be seeing very soon. So there is 3 full coats of Sunset Sands. I feel like now I have full coverage, and this is just a gorgeous polish. Lastly, we have Mermaid Hair Don't Care, which has to be one of my favorite formulas in this collection because I feel like it goes on really nicely, and we almost have full coverage in one coat. So we're just gonna swipe this on. This is like a orangey red, so it is like Ariel's hair, which is fun. And it does have a copper shimmer in it. I'm not sure that is showing up on camera, but hopefully you guys can see that. I'll try to move my fingers so you can. But right now, I think you guys can tell that that is basically done in one coat. It really looks like, I mean, I can't see my nail line, but for the sake of doing it, I'm going to go ahead and let this dry and put on a second coat for you guys so you can see and make your own judgment as if you really need 2 coats or not. Now we're back for this optional second coat. I feel like the second coat really is going to vary upon the applier and just your nails, because I mean, some people have a really bold white line, some people barely have a white line, or some people's white line's kind of dull. So I mean, it's really just gonna differ upon the person. So here's our second coat. I feel like that copper shimmer is showing through more for me. Not sure it's on camera, but there you have 2 coats of Mermaid Hair Don't Care, which I think personally has the best formula for this collection. Here's your final look at all of the polishes you just saw swatched. Next up, I'm going to show you all of the different release dates because this is releasing at the indie shop and online, which you can see on the screen now. So you can be sure to follow Envy on Facebook and their special group, which I have listed there, and on Instagram to stay up to date on this release. Also, I will have a blog post up today that will go into more detail on the polishes, and it'll have all the same launch information and description of the polishes and even more pictures, of course. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have found this video helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below what type of video you guys would like to see next, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!